Why do we get chronic pain? The best way to think of this is to imagine your brain as a world-class orchestra. It's the absolute best in the world. Now, orchestras can play thousands of melodies, and they can play them with their own tempo, their own key, and their own emotional emphasis. An orchestra can improvise a new tune, or even bring back an old favourite depending on the audience. Now, we need to think of pain as just one of these many tunes. A great orchestra can perform an endless variety of music, and it's always ready to learn a new piece. But if it plays the same tune time after time, it becomes automatic, it becomes robotic, and eventually it will really struggle to play anything else. The creativity of the orchestra is going to fade, and the audience is going to very quickly lose interest and stop coming back. So now, to understand pain, we need to talk about primary pain. Now, primary pains are those which aren't a symptom of any other disease, they are the disease themselves. So think of migraines, most chronic headaches, and lower back pain. Now, primary pains are some of the most common conditions worldwide, affecting more people than depression, diabetes, hypertension, or even cancer. Lower back pain in particular is the leading cause of disability worldwide. So when it comes to chronic pain, there's a surprising twist in that the intensity of the pain we experience doesn't always match the severity of the tissue damage. So it's not unusual for someone to feel pain in an area of the body that has actually already healed. And in some extreme cases, people can even feel pain in a limb that's no longer there, for example. This is called phantom limb pain. And what happens is the brain still retains a representation of the amputated limb. So when the brain stops receiving sensory input from that part of the body, it processes that information in a really distorted way, and that can lead to persistent or slightly altered pain sensations. So even though the physical injury might be gone, or in some cases your actual limb might be gone, the wiring of the brain is so complex that it can keep that pain signal alive. So this is basically our brain orchestra getting stuck playing that same old tune. So the next question is it possible for our brain to unlearn this piece of music? It absolutely is. So now we need to picture the brain. It's a yellowish bundle of neurons. It's about the consistency of a soft-boiled egg, slightly squishy and jelly-like. Now your brain contains around 100 billion neurons, and each of those neurons are capable of making thousands of connections. And there are actually more potential connections in your brain than there are particles in the universe. Neurons are so keen to connect with other neurons that if you put a single neuron in a saltwater bath, that thing will stretch up to 30% of its own length to find another neuron. When one neuron connects to and communicates with another, it's called a synapse. Now, babies form millions of synapses per second, and 3 million synapses could fit on the head of a pin. Your brain is neuroplastic, which means it is dynamic and it's constantly changing, with millions of synapses linking and unlinking each second. Now, each synapse is surrounded by an immune cell that can influence that synapse and up to 100,000 nearby synapses. And then another fact, you could give away 10,000 synapses to every single person on the planet and still function just fine. In an earlier video, I talked about what happens at a synapse when we experience pain. So you know that synapses transmit signals, and it's our brain that then receives that information and decides whether it should produce pain. So pain is another synapse, it's another connection, it's another tune that's being played in the incredibly complex brain. So remember, when you're experiencing pain, although it might feel overwhelming, it's only one small part of the vast repertoire of things that your brain can do. And with the right guidance, the right support, and the right treatment, we can form new synapses, new connections, and change the way our brain processes pain, which is great news for chronic pain sufferers everywhere. Don't forget to subscribe and take a look at our other videos for more information that could help you.